see the O-rings busted right there.
Yeah, that's why she's leaking the O-ring shot. So we can't move the boom back and forth anymore. The only thing that stopped it from falling into the lake is my camera. Alright, we're on Alex's next project. We got customer has these pavers that are moving and shifting with the freeze thaw, and they just want them to stop moving. So Alex pulled out a couple right now. We dug down one and see what material was underneath. We were thinking of bringing in some rock and carefully pull all these and lay them out in the grass. We could probably replace them, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to get them in time. So just sit back and enjoy.
Armed.
So sometimes you can do everything right and still have problems, and that's kind of what happened on this job site. The company that built these stairs didn't do anything wrong. They were using good class 5, but the front stoop was still experiencing a lot of movement from the freeze-thaw cycle. So every time the water would freeze, it would push them up, then it thaw, it'd drop back down, but never quite right.
All right, we have excavated it where the water problem is, and we got sloped pitching out right down to here because we're going to put an outlet for drain tile. I'll put that down, and we're going to put our 3/4 clear on top of that. Then some kind of gator mat. All right. The do's and don'ts of holding water back: you don't want to put fabric behind your block when you have a water issue for water to permeate through, because it does not like to go through the fabric, especially with dirt in the way. So the water has just been trapped on this side, it not being able to get out.
And that is exactly what happened. Zach nailed it right there. The filter fabric, although it's permeable and it's supposed to allow the water to go through, gets boogered up with the fines, and then the water becomes trapped and stagnant below the patio. And instead of tearing everything out, since we had a limited time and a limited budget on this project, what we ended up doing was cutting a big hole in that filter fabric to allow the water to go through. We're gonna get that water that's fallen off from that roof out.
Alright, so we're back for day 2. I'm going to be putting in the drain tile after I put fabric down on the bottom, and so that way that captures all the water underneath the drain tile. And then I'm going to make sure the drain tile pitches out to that opening. Yeah. And then I'm going to fill it after I get that all level. Then I'm going to fill it up with rock, leaving this area over here open for right now because Alex has to cut.
So the company that originally built this had the right mind frame. They put fabric down below all their class 5 so that they would contain the fines inside of their class 5 and not have them weep and not have settlement in the top of that patio. But the reverse happened, and the water would actually fill that channel up. But what we want to do is we want to contain that water, so we're going to put the fabric down, a drain tile pipe in, and then we're going to use 3/4 clear, and here's the beauty of that material. 3/4 clear has 0 fines, so if this is a 3/4 inch rock and this is a 3/4 inch rock, they just sit together and they allow the water to freely flow and pass right straight through. So we found for base material, 3/4 clear works beautifully.
Alright, so now we got the class 5 in. 3/4 clear, and then we got our screed rails in to the right level that we're supposed to be. Now we're going to put this chip stuff that we've never worked with before, at least me and Alex haven't worked with it. Over the top of these screed rails, we'll screed it out, pack it down, and then go from there.
Okay, so those granite chips are part of what we call a permeable system. So if you've ever heard of permeable pavers, what it is, it's a very unique system of layering rocks that have zero fines in it. So instead of using class 5, they use completely clear aggregate. And that's just different gradients of clear rock. And that's exactly what we're doing as well. Except we want to do a little extra insurance, and we're going to put a gator mat down. And that's also just going to help distribute that weight over a larger area. Now, here's the beauty part about this rock. As it still goes through the freeze-thaw cycle, all of those void spaces in that 3/4 clear allows for expansion. So any movement that's going through the soil should not translate to the top cap.
All right, so we're wrapping up for the day. We got quite a bit done. You guys seen what we had when we first started. Now we got 2 rows in so far. When Alex is gonna come in here tomorrow and finish putting all this in. All right, so Alex came in here yesterday and finished up doing everything in here, putting the poly sweep in and grouting it. You finished grouting it this morning. And now that this is all done, now we're gonna rip out this whole lower patio here because they want it redone completely from the ground up. So we got to pull back all this, all that, pull all the tiles out, redo what they have underneath it, and then re-put it back together and level it, and hopefully the customer is happy.
So what you're seeing is in effect a change order. We were hired to do the front stoop. We did that. They watched how we did it. They watched our attention to detail, and they said, hey, will you do the rest of our front patio?
So we've discovered that they are getting water underneath, right in here. That's where water sits when it gets wet. And then it's sitting at the end of here, where it also gets wet. So it just comes right back underneath, right underneath these tiles. Because there's no drainage other than into the driveway and a little bit right into the grass there. Otherwise, it's ringed with a whole barrier of edging that don't let water go anywhere else.
So in this case, even though class 5 is permeable, because it actually is, you can use class 5 in certain situations as drainage material. It can also still trap water. That's the problem. It's not a true free-flowing drainage material, although it makes a great base. If you get into situations where you know you're going to be encountering water, you have to take different steps. Now, whoever built this originally probably wasn't anticipating water. It's not really a likely spot to have water, so we can't blame them for what they do.
Okay, so as you can see, Alex was a little busy in my absence. And he has gotten the snap edging in, got all the tiles laid back out, put sand base in, packed, screeded, all that. Now we just need to put the special kind of grout in so that way they don't move so much. Few little details, and then it'll be all wrapped up. So here's the final wrap up. We got the patio done and put a drain spout in right there. There. Put down fabric, all the whole 9 yards. I rebuilt it back up. Put the gator pads in, put sand on, and laid all the tiles in and grouted them. And we ripped out all this, rebuilt it back up how it should have been built up in the first place. Just grouted it. It got all that all wrapped up. Put the drain tile in with an outspout over here. Yeah. The customer's happy with what we've done. It's 10 times better than what it was when we first rolled up. And now we're moving to the backyard to give them a boulder wall to probably give them more of a backyard. As you can clearly see, Alex is already hard at work putting more boulders in.
And that's coming up down the pipeline. And that's all we got for you on this one. Hope things are going well on your end of the world. And that wraps it up for this job. God bless you guys. Go get them, and we'll see you on another one. Have a good one, you guys.